Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Rockwood number 1700. This is what is called a universal door coordinator is what this is. A very typical and common sort of door coordinator that can very easily be a very simple, straightforward solution to get a pair of doors that you might be working on timed properly. So a coordinator is used exactly for that purpose, to basically time the closing action of the two doors in a pair of doors. You can very likely have a simple situation where you have a couple of doors that you've got closers on both doors. You might have an astragal on one door, and you need that inactive door. Let's say it has automatic flush bolts on it. That when the active door is opened, those automatic flush bolts are retracted, allowing the active door to open, but that active door's got an astragal on it. Okay, so you need to have, when both of those doors are opened, you need to have a situation by which, when they close, the active door will be held open until the inactive closes, and then the active door can close last. And that's what the job of a coordinator is, and this one specifically. This is what they call a universal coordinator. It's not quite universal. It doesn't work in all instances, but it's certainly a very easy and straightforward and simple sort of coordinator to use in most instances. So what this has, and it's black obvious by the way, okay, this is generally available in an aluminum finish as well, and is a very simple sort of operation. You've got a longer arm, and that longer arm is for your active door. And then you've got a shorter arm, and that's for the inactive door. Okay. Basically what happens is these two arms are simply linked together, and they're controlled by a spring that you might be able to see down in there. Okay. So that when one arm is closed, because they're directly linked, the other folds closed as well. This is a piece of hardware that you can use without concern of it being in conflict with door closers that you might have. If you have parallel arm-mounted door closers, there's no conflict with where this will install generally, and where your parallel arm bracket will install onto the stop of the frame. This can handle typical size doors, 3-foot size doors. It can handle wider size doors up to a pair of 4-foot doors. It will work in those instances to coordinate your doors where you have hardware that is installed, where you need to have the inactive door closed first. And it works in all instances for that, except if you have a pair of surface vertical rod exit devices, because that will cause these arms to make contact with the latches, the installed latches of your surface vertical rod devices. So if you have surface vertical rod devices, this would not be the appropriate coordinator. You would want a different, maybe a gravity type coordinator from Rockwood, or a bar type coordinator from Rockwood. Either of those are generally okay to use. Not always, though. That gravity coordinator might be a problem as well. You want to review the template of that. Dimensionally, this item, and there is an image below this video called, well, there's links below this video. One is a product brochure, and that is a handy document because it's really a cut sheet. It shows this item and a couple of related products to it. There's also a link called installation, which is a handy document because it basically gives you the overview of how this is installed. It's very simple and straightforward. And you can see, if you'll kindly pull up that installation link, you're going to see that it references the length of the body and the center line of the frame, and then a dimension off of the center line of the frame, okay, for installation. So, quite frankly, reviewing the link to the document called template is accurate, because that will be the document that, at least with this item, is enclosed with the package, and I'm seeing there to be a conflict between the two documents in terms of some physical dimensions. So let's go with the more current document, assuming that's the one that's packaged with the item, and that link is called template. Let's look at the template document. So it's going to give you an overall length of the body, which they have here at 25 and 5/8. And measuring this here in front of me certainly does reveal that to be the case, 25 and 5/8 length. Sorry. Now installing this is going to be real simple and straightforward because you have to know just one dimension. 25 and 5/8, pardon me, closer to 25 and 13/16 overall length. The important dimension really is shown in figure 2. And that figure 2 dimension that's crucial is 14 and 7/8. And that is going to be a reference from the center line of the opening, okay, to the edge of the coordinate is measured off of the active side of the door. Okay, so what you're going to find out here is you're going to go take your center line. Let's just assume that you have a pair of 3-foot doors and that your center line is 36 inch. You're going to go over 14 and 7/8 towards the active side of the door, and that is the side that will have the longer of the two arms. Okay, this is what the drawing looks like as you're looking at it. So center line of your opening, 14 and 7/8 over, is going to be where this will the end of this will flush off to. Okay, you're going to want to make sure that you margin this. When I've installed these, I've installed them, basically flush with the edge of the stop, might inset at a 1/16 of an inch. The face of the stop is shown in figure 3 of the template document. That doesn't indicate that there's anything other than a condition of flush that's happening there. Flush with the face of the stop would be appropriate. The 14 and 7/8 is the important dimension for getting this all installed. The length that the arms are currently installed at is pretty much what's going to work for you. Should you have wider doors, you're going to want to increase this dimension because you've got more door width based on where the arms are making contact with the face of the door. You might need a longer arm to stand them off a little bit further because of the greater width of the doors to have them coordinate properly. So looking at the template document down at the bottom, before spotting holes, point number 1, inactive short arm must be oriented with inactive door prep on the frame. So basically what they're saying is this is the inactive door, the short arm. Okay, and when you think it through, that has to be the short arm because the active door has to be held out further than the shorter arm. So number 2, mount the coordinator with the 4 machine screws or 4 wood screws. Those are all included. You're going to get machine bolts and wood screws, depending on what you're installing to. And that installation is going to be 14 and 7/8 over. Make it basically flush with the stop face. Mark your holes, center punch, pre-drill your holes. There is a reference to adjustable angle for easy installation. That is probably nothing you're going to have to contend with. And meaning adjust the arms is probably going to be nothing that you'll have to contend with. And the fact that these arms just adjust at this angle is very typical and common. It's exactly how this is going to work, pretty simply. There's a reference to a carry bar that's down at the bottom, and the carry bar would be applicable in an application where you had hardware that allowed you to open the active door first before the inactive door, before the active door was pushed open. If you had a hardware configuration on your set of doors where the active door could be pushed open free and clear first prior to the active door opening, meaning you might have, that flat astragal example again, might be installed on the pull side of the active door. You wouldn't want to push the inactive door and have that door itself push the active door open. They're referencing a carry bar, which is used for that purpose, which mounts to the inactive door. There's a roller at the end of it, typically, and that when you push the inactive door open, the carry bar will push the active door open along with, and allow a more safe sort of installation of that material. You don't sell many carry bars, is the bottom line. And that if you have need determining whether or not a carry bar is required, please feel free to reach out to us. So the other dimensions on the carry bar, on the coordinator, is just so that you can refer to your jam dimension, especially on the width. This is 1.5 inches. You should be okay with 1.5 inches, except if you had, I'm going to do some calculating, if you had a 4 3/4 jam depth, and it was equal rabbet, the stop width is going to be too small for this. So this is 1.5 inches wide. You're going to want to make sure that your stop width is compatible with something closer to 1 9/16. Thickness, just for the dimension, just for the sake of knowing, about 13/16. And again, that body length is 25 5/8. Okay. There is a rubber O-ring on here, on both of them actually. They roll relatively smooth. It is the closing force of your door closer that is going to actually, allow this item to work. Okay. That concludes everything that's included with the packaging. There are 3 types of coordinators that I'm familiar with, what they call the universal style, then the gravity style, and the bar style. I'm actually a little bit amazed that this isn't more common than the the gravity style is certainly very common because it's ease of installation. But this is gosh awful easy and simple and straightforward, and works in almost all instances as well. And in my opinion, it's less offensive when installed on the doors and the doors are closed compared to a gravity coordinator. A gravity coordinator is always hanging off the top of a part of the header and down over the opening, and you always see that. And as far as I'm concerned, it's an Achilles heel in terms of vandalism that could be easily tampered with and damaged. I see them in hospitals all the time. Bar coordinators are the best choice, except that there is generally mounting brackets that are required because the bar style goes the entire width of the opening. So if you have door closers that are installed, you're going to have to contend with the fact that the bar coordinator style and that parallel arm bracket, assuming it's a push side mount closer, need to occupy the same space, so there will be additional hardware required. Whereas the universal type sits in the middle of those 2 types, gravity and bar, less vandal possibility because it's really never seen it's certainly never seen from the pull side when the doors are closed. It doesn't and will likely not interfere with any door closers that you have. With surface vertical rod exit devices being the only time when you really can't use this sort of coordinator, and you'd need to go with something else. Okay. Rockwood, the name is synonymous with all things trim and auxiliary hardware related. I'm partial to Rockwood. It's because, a few reasons. Their fit and finish is always excellent on their products when I review them. They are a comprehensive manufacturer of trim and auxiliary hardware, kick plates and door stops. They have a comprehensive line of architectural door pulls under their RM series. And lastly, I'm partial to Rockwood because they have excellent customer service and technical support. If you have any questions on the Rockwood 1700 universal type door coordinator or any other Rockwood product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.